Hey everybody, Paul from Avalon here. Today we're going to take a look at how to build a simple mobile app for your small business. Don't worry if you don't have any coding skills, I certainly don't. We're going to use a no-code platform called Jotform Apps. And I had a lot of fun learning about this and I'm excited to show you guys. So let's jump right in. So our first step is to navigate over to jotform.com and it's going to ask us to either sign up or sign in if you already have an account. So I already have an account and I'm going to use the login button here. But if you don't, you can sign up with Google, Facebook, or you can just use an email to sign up. It's free. Anything that I'm doing here, there's no paid version of Jotform required. I only have a free account as well. So I'm going to log in with my Google account here, and it's going to take me directly to the forms section. So Jotform primarily is a powerful form builder that you can use for all kinds of purposes. I've just got one I was playing around. It's a tax preparation client intake form. We'll take a look at that later when we look at apps. But what I really want to show you today is the app builder. So Jotform has a few different systems built in. There's the forms section. There's a tables platform that's very similar to Airtable. You can get reporting out of it from those forms or from the tables. You can create approval processes, or you can also build an app. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to click the My Apps button there. And it's going to tell us that, hey, you don't have any apps just yet. Well, that's great. We're going to actually go ahead and create one. So at the top left, we can click Create App. And we'll have some choices. We can start from scratch. So that would be just building it all from the beginning. We can start with a template that they provide, and there's over 300 of them. So we'll take a look at those. You can also build stores. So you can build an application that is really like an e-commerce store. And so there's a dedicated section for that. Or you can use this build one for me, and it'll ask you a few questions. You fill it out and it sort of creates a basic template for your app as a starting point. And then you can edit it all from there. Let's take a look at the templates for now. So here are the different templates. There are over 300 at the moment, and you can look at them in different categories. So you could check out booking apps or education apps or scheduling apps. Or if you just look at the right-hand side, you're going to get an overview of probably the popular ones, or you can click the most recent ones. But we're going to take a look at a few of the popular ones here just to get an idea of what you could potentially use Jotform apps for. There are a lot of really cool e-commerce app templates that you can use. So you can just click the online store templates if you want, or you can do a search. I had a look and I really liked the pet store one. So I'm going to take a look at that. So we can preview what that would look like. You can see it's got a little icon on your phone. And then once the app opens up, you've got About Us. You can schedule an appointment for your pets. You can book a pet resort. Or you can also look at different pet supplies. So this one has some e-commerce functionality built in. You can sell some dog toys, dog food, that kind of thing. And it actually integrates with all kinds of different payment platforms. So you could accept Stripe or Square or authorize.net, all kinds of different ways to accept credit cards. So you could have people actually purchase things directly from this app. Another really cool use for this would be if you had a restaurant and you wanted to create a menu app. You can see there's a bunch of different templates for digital menu apps, and you can scroll through and you can change how that looks. I like the list view a little bit better. So you can view a photo of the food, the cost, the description, and you can even add it to cart. So you could have people order directly from the menu on here. Another really powerful use here would be for booking. So if you had a massage therapy clinic, for example, you could use this so that people could book directly in here. You could connect it up to Jane app if you use Jane, and people could book their massage appointments directly in the app. So you could click book section. That could take you to Jane app and they could choose whatever one they wanted there. So people who often frequent your massage therapy clinic could have this app on their phone all the time, and they could click in once a week or however often they want and book their appointment. The last template I'm going to have a look at is the consulting business app. We're going to go ahead and use that template to edit the app and make it our own. So from here, we can take a look at this menu. We have an elements section, so we can add different pieces from the left-hand side. So if we wanted to add in a new heading, all we have to do is drag the element from the left-hand side and drop it in there. And we have this new heading. Add your heading and it'll appear there. You can change the settings. So we could change the color. change the size, whether we want it right, center, or left aligned. And we can even shrink it so that it shows up only on half of the screen there. So that's just a really quick way to add any of these elements. So we can add paragraphs, links, documents, images, buttons, or product lists for our e-commerce platforms, image galleries, sliders, videos, maps, social media buttons. And then we can also add things like forms and tables and reports and little dividers and spacers there. And so that's just the basic elements here. These are the widgets. And there are really cool ones like you can add your Instagram account. You can create a Facebook like box or a map of where your business is located, QR codes, you can add videos, your Twitter feed, all kinds of great stuff. You can just drag and drop from the elements menu there. So once you've got the basic template up, you can start to make some changes so that it feels a little more like your own app. What I would like to usually start with is I'll click the little paintbrush on the right-hand side, and we can change how this looks in terms of a theme. So we can click any of these and it makes really quick changes to the overall look and feel of the app. I like this one. I'm going to stick with that for now. You can further customize the colors if you want an exact color. So if your brand has specific colors, you can actually use a hex code to choose those for the start color, meaning up at the top, the end color, meaning down at the bottom, or the list background color, meaning the background right here. So you can see that change the list color. It's now yellow. I don't actually want that. I'm going to go ahead and just revert back to the original. We can also change the app layouts a bunch. So right now we have the default layout. We can shrink everything. So we can use a layout that shrinks all the pieces so that they only fit on half of the page. It looks really funny with how it's set up. We can have no icon. So if we want just the text, we can have shrunken and no icon. Looks really goofy with this layout. We can show all forms, so that expands all the forms if there are any out, so that they're not just collapsed. They have this big full form to fill out. We can use a plain layout, which is a little more basic. There's all kinds of different ones you can play around with. I'm going to go back to the default because that was kind of how this app was supposed to look in the beginning. So next we'll take a look at how to actually make some changes for the elements that are already within this app template. First one, I'm going to change this logo so that it's my own logo. Right now, it's just an icon that's chosen from this list, but we can use an image as well. So we'll remove the icon and then go ahead and upload our own. And there we go. And we can change the logo size if we want. We can make it bigger or smaller, set it to whatever size makes sense. We can also preview the app to see what it would currently look like on a phone. That might be a little bit big, or it might be okay depending on how we want it to look. You can preview it on a tablet or a desktop for mobile phone, because this can be used on Android, can be used on Apple, or can be used on tablets for just on a desktop as well. We can click into any of these elements to see more information. We can click on the settings. So we can see that this is a link and it has an icon, and it's going to take people to www.example.com when they click on it. We can change the sizes. We can have it show the URL or not. We can shrink it so that it's half the page, which it already is, or we can duplicate this if we want to just use it again, if we really liked what we did there, but I don't want that. I'm going to delete that extra one. These images, we can also check out settings. We can remove the image or upload our own or link one to an image that's online already. These are just simple paragraph sections, so you can format them within the paragraph box, bold, change the font size. You can change the actual font or use underline. All those kinds of things can be done directly in these paragraph elements. These ones down here, we've got some sliders, so you can choose a bunch of different images and have them scroll through. You can have them at different slider speeds. So 1,000 milliseconds would be 1 second, and they can play at different intervals. So we've got a 4-second interval there. And you can also choose to add controls back in. So you could click no to hide controls, and that's going to allow people to click through the images as they like. This next one is the main piece that Jotforms has, and that's different forms that you can create and then implement within an app. So if we see here, it's going to be a form. It's the consultation form. And actually clicking on this edit form button is going to take us to that form. So we can go ahead and edit that form or just view what people are going to see when they click that. So right now This is the consultation form. They're going to add their name, their email, phone number, and request an appointment date. So there's all kinds of really cool stuff you can do with forms. Getting down to the bottom, we've got the contact us section. So they can call directly through a button. You can put in a phone number, and if they're on their mobile phone, like they would be, they can click that and it's going to go right to their phone app and they're going to dial us and give us a call. You can email directly through a button. It's the same way. And then last, you've got this really cool map that you can change the zoom, whatever you want in terms of how zoomed in or zoomed out, and it's going to show the location of your business. So now that we've seen some of the different elements that you can have in an app, we're going to take a look at the settings. So if you click on settings at the top left, you have these 3 sections on the left-hand side. We have app settings, and it's going to tell us whether the app is either enabled, disabled, or you can set it to be disabled on a specific date. So for example, if you had an event that was taking place and you wanted to build an app that was only available for that event and was no longer available to people after, you can have the app automatically be disabled after a given date. Let's leave it as enabled for now. The rest of the options here, you can continue forms later, meaning people can start a form and then come back to it, and their submission or partial submission will be there still once they come back to it. This add to home screen modal is really cool. I'll show you how that works when we go to actually share the app. It's going to look exactly like any other app on your phone, and you don't need to use the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. It's all done through a link or a QR code. It's really slick. And then the last one is just whether you want people to have a progress bar showing when they fill out forms within the app. So I'm just going to leave that off for now. We can also look at the app name and icon. And so that can be different from what it says in the app. You can call this whatever you want. It's going to give you a nice preview of what it could look like. So we're just going to maybe change it so it says Consult App so the full name shows up. And we can edit the icon if you didn't want that, or if you wanted a different one. We have our image right now. We could also just use an icon instead. But I like the image, so we're going to go back to that one and use the image again. So that's what it's going to look like when it shows up on someone's phone. And then next, we'll take a look at the actual splash screen. So this is what it looks like when people boot up the app. It only lasts about a second, but it's cool that you can change the colors and change how it looks as well. We can change up the background color, or we can change the font. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to leave it like that. So that's the app settings. Next, we can look at how to actually share the app. So if you go to the publish section at the top right, you have 3 different ways that you can share the app. One is to share a link. So you can make it so that it's got public access. Anybody with the link can download that app. Private access, so only people that you've invited. Or company access. So if you have an app to have your employees request time off or something like that, you can make it so that only company people in your organization have access to this app. I'm going to leave it as public so that anyone with the link can download it. So we could copy that link and we could include it on our website or in an email or wherever we want. Anybody with that link can then download this app on their phone. We can also invite people by email. So we can just enter their email address, send them a quick message, and send them an invitation, and they'll be able to download the app from that email. And then the last one, which I think is super cool, is this QR code. So if you click the download a QR code, you can paste this within your website, or you can download the actual QR code and print that out and put it at your store or business location. And then people can just use their camera and scan the QR code and download the app that way. It's just a really cool way to show people how to download your app without having to tell them a link or explain anything in detail. They just scan that and they're good to go. So that's about it for that app template and actually how to share that app once you've got it completed. I'm going to start building mine from scratch here, and we'll be able to see just how easy it is to actually create an app for your business. We'll go back to My Apps with the menu at the top left. We'll create a new app, and we're going to start from scratch, like I mentioned. So we're starting from scratch. You can see it's a lot harder if you don't have a good idea of what you want to build. The template might be better if you're not sure and you just want to start somewhere and make some edits. But I've gone ahead and created a bit of an outline for how I want the app to look. I started with the Avalon logo. A lot of it is just kind of similar to our website. And I found that this was a good way for me to outline it. And then I can just go ahead and build that in the app builder. So we'll start with the Avalon logo. And we're going to have, actually, we'll start with the title. It's just going to be called Avalon Accounting. And I'm going to use the same slogan that we have on the website. We've got your books and your back. And we can change the logo. Let's remove that image and upload our own logo. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Avalon Accounting, we've got your books and your back. And we'll go back to our outline, and we've got our next element is just a paragraph element. So we'll click on add our first element, and we're going to drag in a paragraph. I can copy and paste my text into the paragraph. And there we go. We're going to have an email and a phone button showing up next. So I'm going to add a button below, and I'm going to go to the settings, and I'm going to make it as an email button. Email us. I like that. We'll put the recipient as hello@avalonaccounting.ca. And then anybody can just click that email button and it'll email us directly. I also want to shrink that so it's only half of the page there. I'm going to have a call us button here, but to do that, a quick way to do that is just duplicate that last one, turn it into a phone button, leave it as call us, and add in Avalon's phone number like that. There we go. We've got the email and call us buttons set up. Next, I want a little bit more text to just explain that people can email or call from those buttons. So I'll add a paragraph by dragging and dropping. You can also just click it and it will show up directly below whatever the last element was. So I've got give us a call or send us an email and we'll be happy to help, and I'll click done. The next thing I want is a heading. So I'm going to add the heading by dragging it down there. And I'm going to say book a meeting. So we're going to have a way that people can book a meeting with their accountant directly from our app. Now, I like that there's a subheading so I can describe that people can click to schedule a Zoom call with their accountant, because I'm going to have images of the different accountants, and they're going to be links that will take people directly to their calendar to book an appointment. So I'll start by dragging the first image down below, and I will upload the first image and make the changes to the settings from there. So I can click to upload. I'm going to grab an image of Charmaine, and she's going to be our first accountant. We're going to change some settings here. We're going to add Charmaine's name as the alternative text in case the image doesn't load. We're going to create a link to her Calendly so that people can click it and it'll take them right to her calendar. And we're also going to shrink that. So we've got the first one. We can go ahead and duplicate it. We have 4 different accountants that I'm going to add here. So I'll create 4 different images. I'll remove, this is the duplicated one. I can now just go ahead and upload everybody's different photos that I want to include here. So next up, we'll have Joe. We're going to duplicate Joe and then get rid of that image, upload a new one. Choosing it from my desktop, we're going to have John. And one more time, duplicate, remove image, choose the file, upload the image, and we're going to add Jan. So now that we have the photos, let's add their calendar links in here so that people can actually click on their faces to book a call. So we've got Joe's. I'll quickly add in the rest. And there we are. People can now book calls by clicking on the images. Next up, I want another heading to kind of separate things. And I'm going to add a personal tax intake form so that people can provide their personal tax information. And this is going to be a Jotform. I've got one saved already within my forms, and I can just drag the form element down there. And we're going to use the tax preparation client intake form. So now people will be able to provide their tax information directly to us through the app. The next section that I want is going to be the resources section. And so I'm going to create those as little images, but first I need the resources heading. So we'll grab heading again, drag it and drop it, and just type in resources. We're going to use links here. So I'm going to drag the first one down below, and we're going to use the different titles that we want here. This is going to be the blog, and then link to Avalon's blog. We're going to change up the style a bit here. I'm going to not show the URL and not show a preview image. Instead of the preview image, I'm going to use a little icon here. So for the blog, you can just search whatever. I'm going to search blog and see if it'll come out with like a pencil and a paper or something like that. Maybe I'll have to type in paper. There we go. That one looks good for blog. And we can also change the color. We've got one of Avalon's brand colors here that I'll use, and it's a nice red. And we've got our first resource here. It's a blog. People can click that to take them to the blog. I think I'm going to shrink it so that we can have 2 in each line. I can duplicate that and change it to our free guides next. So we'll change the heading to free guide, and we'll change the link as well. So there's our free guides link. And we'll do that 2 more times. Duplicate. Actually, first off, let's change the icon. Let's go with a book. I like maybe something like this. That's pretty good. And then we'll go down to our third one, courses, add our link in there and change the style. I think I like a computer for this one because they're all online courses. Let's grab this monitor and then we'll duplicate it 1 more time. So there's our last one. This one's going to be customer stories. And we have a page on our website. So I'll add the link in there and change the style. I'm going to think if I search for man, I'll get some little people. Actually, I can just click on one of these up here. I'll get the little people here. Let's go with that one. So we have customer stories, blog, free guides, and courses in our resources section. Next, we're going to create a testimonial section. So again, we're going with a header. And we will change this to say testimonials. We can add a subheading like hear what our clients have to say. And then there's actually a testimonial element that we can add, which is pretty cool. So if I drag and drop that in, we can change these settings and add in different testimonials from 3 different or even more different people, and they'll just work on a slider. So I won't make you watch me go through all this, but I'm going to add the image for the client. I'm going to add their testimonial and click save for each of those 3. And we'll have our 3 testimonials on a slider there. And there we go. We've got our testimonials from Dave, Ainsley, and Curtis, and we've got their images. We can change how fast the slides feed goes. We can go moderate or fast so that it just scrolls at a quicker speed. We can have quotation marks. We could shrink it if we wanted half size, but I like it the full way across. And there we are. We've got our testimonials set up. The next things that I want are some of our social media feeds showing up. So I'm going to start with our YouTube channel. So I'm going to add a header first. It's going to say YouTube with a subheading that says check us out on YouTube. Like that. And then I'm going to add a video in. So I'll drag the video below and we can just use our YouTube channel, or we can choose a specific video to showcase what our YouTube channel looks like. So I've grabbed this video here and it's just our sort of quick minute blurb about Avalon. People can find our actual YouTube channel by clicking the icon in the top left as well. And I think that looks pretty cool for YouTube. So next up, we're going to add our Instagram as well. I'm going to say we're also on Instagram. So I've got my heading, and then this was actually from a widget here instead of a basic element. I'm going to drag in the Instagram widget. And we can actually only link a post, but just the same with the YouTube channel, it's going to show our icon and people can find our profile from a direct post. It says, please run the wizard, but really all you need to do is paste in the Instagram post link that you want. This is a 676 pixels high. If we take a look at what that might look like when we preview the app in a phone, so far it's looking pretty good, but I did find that this was a bit taller than I might want because it's hard to really see the whole thing on one page. So I'm going to shrink that down to about 385 was a good number when I was playing around with it. So we'll go 385 and we can preview that again. It doesn't look quite very good within the builder, but when we go look at it on what it's going to look like on a mobile phone, we've got everything we need. We've got the profile, we've got our followers, we've got our full post, and it doesn't chop anything off there. So we've got a nice overview of that Instagram post. So it's starting to take shape. We've got almost everything that I want. Next and last thing I want to add is a map with some contact information so people can find us. So as I had been doing, I'll start with a heading. I'm going to say contact us. Nope, say contact us. And then I will add a map. So we've got this cool map element here. We can just drag down there, and it's open maps. So it's not like Google Maps. It's OpenStreetMap, which is just an open source map. And we can use settings. We can't enter an address. So we actually need to find the latitude and longitude of our business. And you can find that in Google Maps, which is a little bit of a pain, but it didn't take me long to find. So what we'll do is we'll just add in our location here, and there we go. And we can change the zoom level. I like 300 to really get a close view kind of where our office is there. So I think that looks pretty good. And next up, I want to add some text about where our address is, and then also some info about how to email or phone us down below that. So to do that, I'm going to add a paragraph section. Kind of want it to be split so that there's 2 columns. So I'm going to shrink that down to take up only half, and then I'll paste in our address here. I think the spacing looks okay, but I kind of prefer to have it a bit tighter. So if you hold down Shift and hit Enter, it'll do a line break, but it's not that full line break. So it's a bit tighter up there. And then I'm going to duplicate this and then just edit it so that it shows our phone number and email address as well. I'm actually going to create a link so that people just click the email address instead of reading it and copying it and pasting it. So I'll edit these. I'm going to delete that. I'm on a Windows PC. So if I hold down the Windows key and hit the period button, I get emojis, and I'm going to add an email emoji. And I'm just going to say click to email. And then I'm going to do the same with a phone. And I'm going to enter our phone number in here like that. And then from here, if I want to have people actually click to email, I can insert the link. It's going to be mail to : and then the email address you want people to email. So hello@avalonaccounting.ca. And now people can actually click that to email that address there. So we're looking really good. We're almost done. The last thing I want to do is just add our little social icons down below. And those are in the basic elements, I think right here. There's the social elements. So we can click the social follow. And if you click on the settings, all we need to do is update the different addresses here, and it'll add or remove. So if we had address, it's going to add a Flickr account. If we leave it blank, it's not going to have it. So I'm going to leave out LinkedIn. I'm going to have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So I'll go ahead and paste those addresses in there. And there we go. I've got YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and all of our links are added. The one last thing I want to do is change it so that it's back to our Avalon colors again. So I know just from memory, FF3235, oops, gonna do that here. We'll get us our Avalon red, and there we are. So let's take a preview of this in what it's going to look like on a phone. We've got our nice logo. We've got our heading, some text. We've got the email and call buttons. We've got these images that'll take us to the different Calendly links. So people can click on that and book a call with Joe, Charmaine, John, or Jen. We've got our personal tax intake form. People can click that, fill out the form, and it'll take them directly in their phone to that nice personal tax intake form that we created. We have the resources pages. So really, these are just links that'll take them to Avalon's different sections, our blog, guides, courses, and customer stories. And then we've got our nice testimonial slider there where we'll see the 3 different testimonials show up. We've got our YouTube page so we can watch the videos directly in here. We've got Instagram. People can navigate to our Instagram profile and follow us from there. And then we've got the contact form so we can zoom in, zoom out, and find where our office is. And then we've got the address, and then we have our contact info as well as our social buttons down at the bottom. So the last step this is going to be to share this link, and I'll show you what it looks like on the phone once it's downloaded, and I'll show you how people can actually download this app. So when we want to share this app, we can start up at the settings section. We can make sure that the app is enabled. We can make sure that the settings look how we want. We've got the app name. I'm just going to actually call it Avalon so that it doesn't chop off some of the title. We've got Avalon and our logo. We've got a splash screen. That looks okay. Maybe I'll change the color a little bit so that it's not quite so dark. Let's just go with the white there and leave that. And then we can publish this app. So we can share the link, we can use the QR code, or we can invite people by email to access our app. Now, I really like the QR code, so I'm going to download a QR code and I'm going to show you what it looks like on my phone when I scan that QR code and download the app on my phone. So here we are, we're now on my phone. You can see the phone screen. And what I'm going to do is just open up the camera and I can scan that QR code here. It's going to say show options, or I can just click on that link and it will take us to the actual app, and it's going to prompt us to add the app to the home screen. And I like that, and I'll show you why. So if we click install, it doesn't need to be on any app store or anything like that. We've now installed the app on our home screen. You can see it says it at the top. We'll take a look at that in a sec, but if we scroll down, this is what the app is going to look like now that we have it on our phone. It's pretty slick. It took me maybe 20 minutes to build this app, and cost nothing. So I think that's pretty great. So now we can see my home screen, and we can see we've got the Avalon app there. So it's pretty easy to just add that to the main home screen. You can uninstall it. You can just access it directly from here. So anytime anybody wants to access our Avalon accounting app, they just need to scan that QR code and then they've got the app installed. So there we have it. There's how to build a simple app for your small business with the Jotform App Builder. I had a lot of fun learning how to do it, and I hope you did as well. If you do make something, please do send me a link in the comments. I'd love to check it out and see what everybody's doing and get some more ideas for building different apps. If you liked our content, please like this video and subscribe. It really helps motivate us to do more of these videos, and we'll have a lot more content coming out about accounting, but also about different tools and things like the Jotform App Builder that you can use to help out your small business.